Welcome to my basic coil build tutorial. Next we have the tools you'll need: needle nose, wire snips, jigs, screwdriver. Hey guys, Single Coil Chuck here again. Glad you came back. Today I'm just going to show you how to wrap some coils. Very easy stuff, very simple. At the end of this tutorial I'm going to go over a couple of things from my last video, just because I can. But let's dive right in. First I'm going to show you how to wrap using a coil jig. Again, my favorite is the Coil Master jig set because it includes a 4mm jig piece. That's just my preference. You don't have to use this. I'm also going to show you how to hand wrap on a screwdriver. I want to make this very clear. I'm no super pro at this. I just have a little knowledge and I like to share. So this is the cheapest option to go with. You can pick up a set of these precision screwdrivers at Walmart for something like $5-6 maybe. You may even have some of these laying around. A lot of people use a drill bit. I personally don't. I like how this has this nice bulbous handle right here. It makes gripping the wire very simple. So let's dive in. First, we're going to do it with the jig. So I have a length of wire right here, ready to go. I had 2 lengths of wire. Where'd the other one go? Super sad. We will find it. So, with the jig set, this one in particular has a slot, a groove right here that you can hold the wire in if you wanted to hand wrap, or even just use it like a normal jig. I'm going to use the holes that are included on this because that's how most jigs are. So, you're going to feed your wire through the hole, have just enough there to bend down, hold it with your thumb, and you're going to give it a half wrap. And then from there, you're going to take the jig end, put it on the jig piece, and spin. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to do 7 wraps, keep it nice and short. So what you'll end up with is a coil. You're going to have to do a little positioning on the jig itself to kind of straighten her out. So bend your lead in place and even straighten them out a little bit. And obviously you don't want your leads to be but so long, so we can go ahead and trim these up. What I like to do after I pull the coil out of the thumb slot, press it down and try to compress it just a little bit more. And there you go. That's one coil. And then you go through the pinching and priming process and all of that good stuff. But we're not focused on that today. We're just building coils. Now we're going to address the hand wrapping method. This is very simple. I like to use the precision screwdriver. What I'll do, because it has this nice little grippy, so I'll put a good length of it right there and hold it with my thumb. From there, I'm going to take it to where the screwdriver meets the handle and start wrapping, and we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very simple stuff. Very simple. So we'll take the lead, bend it into place, take our needle nose, tighten that up, straighten it out. Then we want to manipulate the leads so that they're straightish. And again, we are going to trim these so that they're a little bit more manageable for when you go to actually install them. And there you have it. Another coil. Very easy stuff to do. I personally have gotten spoiled. I like to use my jig because it just makes life faster, cleaner, and more simple. Hand wrapping in a pinch, we don't always have access to a jig. But if you have access to something that's round, that you can wrap around, you're always able to wrap a coil. Guys, that was my coil tutorial. Very short, very sweet. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was somewhat educational. Hey guys, Single Coil Chuck here. I just wanted to take the time to thank so many of you for watching my very first YouTube video, the build tutorial of the Limitless RDTA. I asked for feedback, and I received so much feedback. 15,000 views, 36 subscribers. I cannot thank you enough. I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. Let me make this very clear. I just want to help people. I work in a vape shop, and helping people is why I work in a vape shop. I enjoy it. So, I'm going to dive right into a couple of things. First, I asked for feedback and I received it. I would like to start by addressing, let's see here, Zachary Riley. We're not going to address Zachary Riley. I'm just going to leave it at this. If you want to see how I troll people, go read the comments on my first video. I will troll you if you try to troll me. Let's see here. Mike Nicholas. Have I done SS316 temp coil on the RDTA yet? The answer is yes. I love stainless steel 316L specifically. That's what I use and build with. I use it in temp control. I also use it in power just because I feel like stainless steel has a cleaner taste. Too legit Lil Brit. Ma'am, I want to thank you so much for your constructive criticism. It had not occurred to me that I shouldn't fast forward through portions of the video. I, however, did figure that watching me sit there and fiddle and tinker and all of that would get a little bit boring. For the sake of future build tutorial videos, anything I do, I will make sure that it is not one continuous shot, but a continuous video with no fast forwarding, unless it really is trivial stuff. I really appreciate your feedback. I in no way took it as snarky or rude. I'm sorry if my response to you came off as the same, but I do appreciate that feedback. Let me see, what size wire? I was asked this by two people in a row, actually. Base Daddy, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the second person's name because my God, I'll kill it. The gauge was probably 24, maybe 26. If I had to guess, it was 24. That was 2 months ago. I don't remember, to be completely honest with you, but I will start including that. In fact, for this build tutorial, I used 20 gauge Nichrome. I do not recommend that if this is your very first coil build that you go out and you get 20 gauge Nichrome. It just happened to be the wire that I put my hand on first. What I do recommend that you do is go get some 24 or 26 gauge Kanthal A1. Very simple to build with, and this is something that I learned very early on in 2014. Around a 3mm bit, that's a 3mm jig bit, a 3mm screwdriver, or even a 3mm or whatever the SAE equivalent of a drill bit is. With 24 gauge Kanthal, you are getting 0.1 ohms per wrap. That means that if you do a 5 wrap single coil, your coil will be in the ballpark of a 0.5 ohm resistance, or a half ohm. So, neat little trick I learned there. Worth knowing. Let's see here. Oh, this is one of my favorite. Thomas Hassencam. Sorry if I ruined your last name, brother. How come your name be Single Coil Chuck when you build dual coils? Well, there's a fun story about that. When I started vaping in 2014, I wanted to save as much money as possible. I was spending over $180 a month in cigarettes. I said, how can I make this cheaper? Because my startup was astronomical 2 years ago. I paid $178 for my very first setup. I started with a drip atomizer and a mechanical mod. I took a lot of time to learn how to build safely, and what works best with my mod. The reason I'm Single Coil Chuck is because when I did finally start building my own coils and stopped having the guys at the shops build them for me, I had a very difficult time building two identical coils. My first coil would always be great for what I was doing. My second coil would always turn out like garbage, and I could not for the life of me squeeze both coils into the RDA and snip it without wrecking at least one of the two coils. So I settled on just building single coils for the longest time. My Instagram handle is Single Coil Chuck, but if you go and you look through my photos, I haven't done a single coil build exclusively in quite some time. There are a couple of photos recently, but not very many. And Joke 353, good video, bro. Hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate the input. I want to tell you about one other thing, especially if you're just getting into coil building. There's a wonderful tool out there on the interweb called Steam Engine. We all, for the most part, have smartphones or tablets now. You can go to steamengine.org and you can save this to your desktop or your phone, your home screen rather. It is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Excuse me one moment. Steam Engine has many different calculators on it. An Ohm's Law calculator, a coil wrapping calculator, a battery life calculator, a mod range calculator, e-liquid calculator if you want to get into mixing your own liquids, and then a wire wizard if you're using a more advanced device like a DNA or a more recent DNA device. But we're going to talk about the coil wrapping calculator. It is going to help many of you out. It has helped me tremendously. The coil wrapping calculator is the second tab on their website. It looks like a paperclip. This gives you everything you need to wrap coils. It asks you all the parameters. What type of material are you using? Is it round, flat, twisted, parallel? What gauge is it? Is it going to be a single, dual, octa, septuplet, quad? However many coils you're going for. It'll ask you for your target resistance. So let's say you want to build to a 0.5, you'll put 0.5 into that block. Inner diameter of the coil, that is how big the item you are wrapping around is. So 4, 3, 2, whatever you're wrapping around. And then at the very bottom, oh no, I'm sorry, the next block says leg length total. I leave that alone, I pay no attention to it. And then at the very bottom of the page, it spits out all of the information back to you. So just looking at the web page as it sits, Kanthal A1 round 30 gauge, single coil, 1.8 ohms of resistance around a 1.3 millimeter item. And this does convert to SAE if you prefer, if you're using a drill bit or something of that nature. At the very bottom, it says the resistance, number of wraps, 10.23, so 10 wraps. Full wraps being the inside of the coil, the part that I can see that you can't see from this vantage point. And the half wraps being the outside of the coil. That includes the two legs. Those are half wraps. So it is an 11-10 coil, half full. Great tool. I highly recommend it, and I'll include a link in the description down below for you. Guys, thank you so much again for watching the video. I hope that you found this educational. I look forward to making another one.